Proper battery maintenance will ensure you're getting the most out of your Ape Labs lighting. Today, we're going to teach you 4 battery maintenance tips that will make sure that you are doing everything you can to get there. Are you ready to do it? Let's go. How you doing, everybody? Justin Schwartz here on behalf of Ape Labs. Today we are going to go over 4 battery maintenance tips that are going to help you get the most out of your Ape Labs lighting. Before we dive into those 4 tips though, make sure you're checking out Ape Labs at apelabs.com. Also, if you have any questions, please drop them down below. We're always happy to answer any questions you might have. And lastly, consider subscribing to our page here. We would love to see you back here again. Now, before we dive into the 4 tips, we want to just quickly explain why these tips are necessary. Ape Labs lighting is different in so many ways, and one of these ways is the battery itself. Most other lighting brands use lithium-ion batteries. Ape Labs uses nickel metal hydride. Now, nickel metal hydride is more stable, which means that you can actually fly with these in planes. They also will give you a longer lifespan over the lifetime of the battery, and more importantly, they give you longer run times between charges. However, in order to kind of get all of that extra stuff, there is a little bit of maintenance required, and that's the trade-off here. Now we're going to go through each one of those steps and we'll explain how to do it and why it's important. Okay, tip number 1 is make sure when you are storing your Ape Labs lights, you're storing them at room temperature, which is basically between 50 degrees and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So what does that mean? If you're working an event during the winter and you're leaving your lights in your van overnight and it's getting really cold, that is not good. It's going to harm the batteries. Conversely, during the summer, same thing. You don't want to store your lights in any space where it's going to get too hot. So, tip number 1, make sure you're storing your lights at room temperature, and again, that's between 50 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Tip number 2, when you are done with your events for the weekend, for the week, when you're done using them, as you're using them, actually bring them back and charge them back up to 100% before you store them for a period of time. So at the end of your events for that weekend or week, whatever it is, and you're gonna take a few days off and not use them again, actually charge them up, make sure they're up to 100%, and then store them. So tip number 2, after using your Ape Labs lights, make sure you bring them back to 100% by charging them, and then go ahead and store them. Tip number 3, and this is the most important one because this is what's going to really allow your lights to continue to function the way that you expect and to get those run times that you really need. So every 30 to 90 days, what you're going to want to do is after your events for that week or that month, whatever, when it's convenient, you're going to want to let your lights die out completely. So what you do is you just simply turn them on and you let them run out on their own, which brings them to about 0 or 1% on the actual battery indicator. Then you do a full battery charge. So that will allow the lights to do a full cycle down to 0 or 1% and then back up to 100. If you don't do this, and most people are not using their lights for more than 4 to 6 hours at a time, the nickel metal hydride battery has what's called a battery memory, and it starts to think that it's only a 4 or a 6 hour battery. Over time, it's going to actually hurt the battery and also hurt your run times. So it's very important to do this battery cycle every 30 to 90 days. And again, what is that? Allow the lights to die out on their own, going to 0 or 1%, and then do a full charge back to 100. All right, tip number 4, and you could also call this tip 3A because it's directly connected to doing the full system discharge and charging it back up to 100%. So I have my mini tour box in front of me. I let these all die out. They now have been on the charger for a few hours. I've got most of them now pulsing green, which is what you want to see. Typically, pulsing green means your battery is back to 100%. However, because of the nickel metal hydride batteries and the fact that maybe you aren't performing this process as often as you should, sometimes when it pulses green, it's not actually at 100%. And you want to actually put it back on the charger until it stays pulsing green. So what you're going to do to actually perform this process is when it does pulse green, you're just going to want to take it off the charger for about 15 seconds, right? So we'll count that out. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At 15 seconds or so, you're going to put it back on the charger and you're going to want it to stay pulsing green. That one stayed pulsing green. That means that my battery inside the light is fully calibrated. Now, if it went back to red, you know, see how this one is pulsing red. If it went back to pulsing red, all you have to do is just allow that to go back to green and then just repeat the process until after that 15-second interval when you take it off the charger, it stays pulsing green. You do not have a fully calibrated battery until that happens. So it's very important that you perform this function after doing your full system discharge. And even when you're charging your lights regularly, I always take them off, check them, make sure, because I want to make sure my lights are fully calibrated and I'm getting the most out of them. That's going to give me the best run times, and also that's going to give me the longest lifespan of the battery itself. All right, everybody, so that was your 4 most important battery maintenance tips. These are battery enhancement tips as well. We want to make sure you're getting the most out of your Ape Labs lighting. If you just do this basic maintenance, I promise you these lamps and these batteries will last you a very, very long time. They're excellent quality batteries. They will have the longest run times you'll see out there, and they will last you. The Maxi battery has a life cycle of up to 500 discharges to full charges, which is a long time. Most lithium-ion batteries are going to have a max of about 300. So if you perform this battery maintenance, you're going to get the most out of your Ape Labs lighting, and that's what we want to see. So once again, make sure you're checking out Ape Labs at apelabs.com. If you have any questions on this or anything else regarding Ape Labs, please drop your questions down below. And also consider subscribing to our channel here. We'd love to see you back here again. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed making it. More importantly, we hope you got something out of it. And as I always like to say, we'll see you on the next one, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye.